Hi. So I wanted to take a moment to share a story with you. Maybe it will resonate with you. My dad had melanoma that went to his brain, and he was dying, and I knew that, so I knew I needed to get to him. I knew he only had a few days left. So I flew down to where he was, and before I showed up, my mother said that a volunteer had come to watch him, because he was in hospice. And the volunteer had said he had felt the presence of the Holy Spirit in the room. Now, my father was a really, really good man, very disciplined man. A lot of people liked him. He worked really hard, and then he was a big member of the Orthodox faith. He did a lot for them. He was an archon and all these things that we have in our religion that are, kind of a high-ranking position. But he was really, truly a good soul, and a lot of people felt that way, and my whole life I felt that way. So I'm sitting there with him, vigil, and he's getting weaker and weaker, and the morning that he died, I started to hear something that was pretty remarkable. And what it was angels singing. It sounded like it was a glorious sound. The best way to describe it was men and women's voices, like male, female. They were kind of here, and then they were kind of way far away too. So they felt like they were everywhere. It wasn't, directly in front of me. It was just everywhere. That's the best way to describe it. And then, unlike the way we sing, which is, we sing and then we take a breath, like, I'm not a singer, but I know that singers have to take a breath in between verses or whatever. So this was not like that. So when it was basically and it did not stop at all. And it was not choppy like I just did it. It was smooth. It was gorgeous. It was everywhere. It was male, female. It was everybody. And I could not stop thinking about how beautiful it was. And it dawned on me that I was bearing witness to something that was a gift really to my father. And I just got to bear witness to it because I was sitting with him and experiencing his death basically with him. So, so the sound lasted about a day and a half. Okay. And they, the priest came and they did prayers over my father, and they, did what they do, and they took him to the morgue, and the sound was still in my ears. And you couldn't say, oh, I was just tired, because it was beyond that. It was very, very real. But at some point, because, when I'm normally living, I'm going to interact with somebody, I'm going to listen to them. But if I'm doing that with this singing in my ears, I'm really not going to be able to focus. I cannot focus on anything else but this beautiful, glorious sound. So I got to a point where I remember taking a shower like a day and a half later, and I said, I can't hear this anymore. It's the most wonderful gift. It really is, but I literally cannot hear it anymore. And thank you for giving it to me. I'm really honored, and I know what it means. And sure enough, within an hour and a half, that sound went away. That was in 2019, and I haven't heard it since. But I did Google it. I did look for other people who might have experienced it. People have talked about it in the way that I have, so I know that they experienced something very similar. And then the priest who came to read prayers over my father's body, post-death, I didn't tell him that day, but I told him probably like a month later. And he said yes. He goes, he's been to many of these moments where people have died, and he does the final prayers for them. And he said it happens. He's experienced it as well. So I know it's real. I wonder if you've experienced it. If you have, comment below, let me know. You can email me or text me and let me know as well. All right. But I think it's an incredible thing that I got to experience. I'm going to share other stories that I've experienced that are spiritual and kind of unexplainable, but awesome as well. And thanks for watching.